We began with the latest from the Middle East, raising tensions and stakes in the ongoing negotiations for a ceasefire in Gaza. Hamas has called on Palestinians to march to Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque on March 10th, when Ramadan, the holy month for Muslims, begins. The Hamas chief says Palestinians must come, pray, and stay at the mosque in order to break the siege.
This is a call to our people in Jerusalem and West Bank and the occupied areas inside Israel to march toward Al-Aqsa Mosque from the first day of the holy month of Ramadan, in individuals and in groups, to pray and stay in it and to break the siege of it. We address the esteemed resistance forces in our nations, who are now fighting their battle on many fronts in supporting of their brothers in Gaza, to intensify their battle for Al-Aqsa. Jerusalem is the compass of this blessed axis, and on the way to it, martyrs are made.
Now, the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in Jerusalem's Old City is one of the holiest sites for Muslims and the most sacred for Jews. In fact, it has long been a flashpoint for potential violence, particularly during religious holidays, and has been the most sensitive site in the Israel-Palestine conflict so far. Hamas Chief Ismail Haniyeh also called on the Arab states and self-styled axis of resistance, which consists of Iran's allies, including Lebanon's Hezbollah, Yemen's Houthis and Islamic Resistance in Iraq, to step up their support for Palestinians in Gaza.
Any flexibility we are showing in the negotiations is to protect the blood of our people and to put an end to their huge pains and sacrifices in the brutal war of extermination against it. In parallel, we are ready to defend our people. It is the duty of the Arab and the Islamic world and the duty of the brotherly countries neighboring occupied Palestine to take the initiative to break the conspiracy to starve the northern Gaza Strip.
Now, in response, Israel is accusing Hamas of igniting tensions even further. It also says it may set limits to worship at the compound during Ramadan according to its security needs. Now, this could set the stage for possible clashes if crowds of Palestinians do in fact turn up. Many Palestinians have rejected any such restrictions on their access to that site.
Hamas's top goal at this time is to cause a flare-up in Temple Mount so that we are forced to take some of the pressure off Hamas and move resources and forces to the West Bank and Jerusalem. We must not give them that. On the one hand, we are operating against terrorist elements, and on the other hand, it is our obligation to allow freedom of worship, and I think we will reach the right arrangements that would allow that.
Now, the United States has been pressing for a truce before Ramadan began. In fact, earlier this week, U.S. President Joe Biden said he hoped that a ceasefire would be agreed to by March 4th. Israel and Hamas both have delegations in Qatar this week hammering out details of a potential 40-day truce, which is also aimed at freeing additional hostages. In fact, Israel had agreed upon the proposal at talks with mediators in Paris just last week. According to reports, the Paris text would see Israeli troops pull out of populated areas and around 40 hostages go free in exchange for around 400 Palestinian prisoners. However, there are still wide gulfs between the two sides, and Hamas insists that any truce to release hostages must end with a permanent ceasefire and complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. Now, Israel has rejected this, but Qatari mediators say that there are no breakthroughs yet. Meanwhile, Israel continues its offensive in Gaza. In fact, 79 people died overnight across the war-torn Palestinian enclave, taking the death toll beyond 30,000. In fact, food aid reaching Gaza has also severely declined over the past month, and international aid agencies say the residents are close to famine.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene.
The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on First Post America.